Every drop of water is part of a journey. It begins as water vapor that falls to earth as rain. For the next 25 years, it's filtered through volcanic rock. At last, it arrives at its final destination. Really? Can somebody come fix this?
When it comes to water, don't waste a drop. You don't have to go to extremes to save water. For easy water-saving tips, visit boardofwatersupply.com.
Aloha mai kākou, and welcome to our June 24th regular meeting of the Board of Water Supply. I'm calling our meeting to order at 2 p.m. We have 5 items for action and 3 for information on our agenda this afternoon. And I'll turn first to item 1, requiring board action. Approval of the minutes of the public hearing and regular meeting held on May 28, 2019. The draft of our May 2019 meetings has been distributed both by email and hard copy. It's also available on board pack. Knowing each of you to be judicious minute readers, please let me know if anyone has found any errors.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the motion passes. We'll turn now to the second item requiring board action for this afternoon, adoption of resolution number 897, 2019, reimbursement of capital expenditures from the proceeds of indebtedness. This resolution establishes a time limit for reimbursement of capital expenditures at 18 months and would bring BWS into compliance with the U.S. Treasury regulations. The chair recognizes Joe Cooper for presentation of this item.
Thank you, Chair. Board members. Yes, this is we recommend the adoption of resolution 897-219, declaring the official intent of the Board of Water Supply of the City and County of Honolulu to reimburse itself for certain capital expenditures from the proceeds of indebtedness. This resolution establishes a time limit for the reimbursement of capital expenditures at 18 months. This resolution brings the Board of Water Supply into compliance with Section 1-150 of the U.S. Treasury regulations and does not bind the board to make any expenditures, incur any indebtedness, or proceed with any project. The resolution establishes a limit of $166,305,000 and attaches the FY 2020 Capital Improvement Program to the resolution. This is a common industry practice, and the board has adopted similar resolutions in the past prior to issuing bonds. In 2003, 2008, and 2010, most recently. We do anticipate issuing revenue bonds sometime in the 3rd or 4th quarter of next year, and this resolution just gives us flexibility in that process. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Joe?
Yeah. You know your list of capital improvements?
Yes?
What are cost index adjustments and contract adjustments? Are those in case of change orders, or what are they?
Cost index adjustments, I believe, are adjustments to be made when the contract is awarded, when the estimate of the project comes in above the actual budgeted amount. Contract adjustment account or contract adjustment account adjustments are made when prior contracts come in or when you have change orders on prior year contracts. And so we've established certain accounts to take care of those uncertainties in the contracting process.
Okay, I think I understand that. Did you have in here, I know I read it somewhere, and was it in this issue that you talked a little bit about coverage, and you had our coverage for this year for the minimum coverage of our indebtedness at 5.6 or something like that for this
Yes,
year?
actually, I think we're going to be covering that in one of the information items later
Okay,
in today.
then that's good. I just want to bring that up. Okay? Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome.
Are there any other questions?
This
Yeah.
meets our master plan? I mean, this
Well,
short-term borrowing?
it
Before
supports
you-
our master plan because it's in support of the capital improvement
Okay,
program
Okay.
And our long-term financial.
in the long.
Yeah.
And again, it's just a tool to provide flexibility in expending our bond funds. It doesn't really require us to do anything. In fact, it may not get implemented at all, but it gives us that flexibility.
It's also similar to what the city does when they issue bonds.
Yes.
Any other questions? No. Is there any public testimony on this item? No? Okay, thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
With that, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Do we have any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Okay, we will now turn to our third item requiring board action for the afternoon, adoption of resolution number 898, 2019, gift of a video from Saxon Sawai Oahu Films. This resolution involves a donation of a 1-minute television commercial from Hawaiian Fuinki LLC to build the board's capacity to raise awareness about the importance of using our precious freshwater resources efficiently, and the chair recognizes Kathleen Elliott Pahinui for the presentation of this item.
Thank you, Chair. We recommend acceptance of the proposed gift to the Honolulu Board of Water Supply from Hawaiian Fuinki LLC in support of our public education program. The estimated value of this gift is approximately $18,000. Hawaiian Fuinki LLC is offering to increase our existing inventory of public service announcements through a donation of a 1-minute high-quality television commercial on disaster preparedness, the details of which are still currently being discussed. In anticipation of the tropical storm season, which is now upon us, the BWS has been actively promoting disaster preparedness to Oahu residents as we participate in various city-sponsored disaster prep fairs throughout the island. This gift will allow us to share this vital message with countless people as we disseminate it through mass communications media such as TV and social media. It will also benefit all Oahu water users without adding additional expense to the BWS ratepayers. We deeply appreciate the continued support of this board for our public education outreach programs, in which we try to encourage all Oahu water users to embrace their roles as responsible stewards of our precious water resource.
Thank you, Kathleen. Do we have any questions from the board?
No, I'm just curious, in Hawaiian Fuinki?
Fuinki, we double-checked it.
What company is that?
Okay, just to give you a little background, Saxton Sawai is actually the nephew of a former BWS employee, Kat Sawai, who used to work for Barry Usagawa. He recently moved back from the mainland. He is trying to establish a production company to do film and commercials and things on Oahu. And what came to us, offered to do this for us for free because he'll also get to use this commercial. He does an excellent job as part of his reel in his portfolio. So it's kind of a win-win for us. We get a high-quality production value that would.
But it's a production company is what it is?
Yes,
Oh,
correct.
okay.
I want to be sure that we have final control of content.
Absolutely, we've actually written an agreement that I crafted with my team, that we have complete control of our branding message, because you're absolutely correct. We do not want them to use it in an inappropriate manner. And once it's done, we own it. They do not get the right to edit it.
Thank you.
Excellent.
And because hurricane season comes every year, the opportunity for reuse of this PSA would be great for us.
Are there any further questions from the board?
Yeah, you mentioned about running the PSA. The 18,000 is for the production of it.
Correct, but because,
But we do get free time on regular TV or whatever.
we'll be able to run it on Olelo for no cost, because we do a lot of work with them. They're always looking for content, so we'll be able to give it to Olelo to run on their station. And then we will work with our advertising agency to leverage the costs that we do spend on media to use this and insert this as a PSA.
How long is this planned for? I mean, what's the length of the?
1 minute.
Oh, 1 minute, yeah, that's right, sorry.
And Kathleen, might it be possible to also post it on our website?
Oh, absolutely. Social media, everything. Yeah, we're gonna make sure it's out there everywhere. Absolutely. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Do we have any public testimony on this agenda item? If not, mahalo Kathleen. Do I have a motion on this?
Second.
All right, the motion has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, this motion also carries. We'll turn now to the fourth item requiring board action for this afternoon, adoption of resolution number 899, 2019, acceptance of a gift to the Board of Water Supply from Hawaiian Earth Recycling LLC in support of the 2019 annual Halawa Xeriscape Garden Open House and Unthirsty Plant Sale. This resolution accepts the proposed gift of compost from Hawaiian Earth Recycling in support of the open house and plant sale at a total value of $925. The Vice Chair also recognizes Kathleen Elliott Pahinui for presentation of this item.
Thank you, Chair. We recommend adoption of the attached resolution that accepts the proposed gift to the BWS from Hawaiian Earth Recycling LLC in support of our 2019 annual Halawa Xeriscape Garden Open House and Unthirsty Plant Sale to be held on August 3rd. The value is $925. The BWS's annual Halawa Xeriscape Garden Open House and Unthirsty Plant Sale located at the BWS facility at the end of Eva Enna Street is a well-established, successful public outreach program. It educates Oahu residents about the importance of outdoor water conservation and sustainable gardens. Studies show that more than 30% of residential water use occurs outdoors, so it makes sense for the BWS to promote water-saving methods in this area, which in turn can reduce the customer's combined water and wastewater bill. This donation from Hawaiian Earth Recycling LLC allows the BWS to give free soil conditioning compost to plant sale visitors and encourage them to incorporate it into their own home gardens, some of the techniques they learn at the event. We deeply appreciate your continued support of this event, and we do invite all of you to come this year, August 3rd. Please, we'd love to see you guys. I know Ross has attended. Thank you.
And if you come, you can also join me in shoveling compost into bags for the public that comes to the event. It's very popular.
Do we need to bring our own shovels?
No, we have a lot of shovels. But also be prepared to get a little smelly and dirty when you do that.
All right.
Yeah.
It's okay. So are there any questions from the board for Kathleen? Seeing none, do we have any public testimony on this agenda item? All right, mahalo Kathleen again.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion for agenda item 4?
So moved. Second.
All right, the motion has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All right, with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. We'll turn now to our final item requiring board action for this afternoon, election of the chair and vice chair of the Board of Water Supply beginning July 1, 2019 for the ensuing fiscal year. Vice chair opens the floor to nominations for both positions for this upcoming fiscal year, which will run from July 1 to June 30th. Board members, soon.
One person's position at a time or both? What do we do?
You know, in the past, I'm open to any suggestions. In the past, we've done them for both at the same time.
Okay. I nominate Brian as chair and yourself as vice chair. I don't see any reason to disrupt what's going well and to reinvent the wheel.
I move that nomination be closed.
We need a second person.
Well, we have a nomination and a motion and a second. I would note for the record that as a chair, I can't actually nominate anyone else. Otherwise, perhaps we might have a nomination.
No, it's closed.
But we have a motion on the floor. Do we have any further discussion?
Call for the question.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's truly an honor and a privilege to serve. So thank you, board members and staff. We'll turn now to the 3 items for information. Our first item for information this afternoon is the water systems revenue bonds and the compliance with the rate covenant. We will again recognize Joe Cooper for presentation of this agenda item.
Good afternoon again, board. In accordance with Article 8, Section 8.02 of the Rates and Charges of the Water System Revenue Bond Resolution Number 717, 2001, we have completed a review of the financial condition of the Board of Water Supply for purposes of estimating whether the net revenues for the current year and the next succeeding fiscal year will be sufficient to comply with the rate covenant in this section. Our review included an examination of the financial and accounting records, which we considered necessary to express an opinion on the adequacy of the department's rates and other charges such that net revenues shall not be less than the net revenue requirement for each fiscal year. In our opinion, net revenues for fiscal years 2019 and 2020 will not be less than the net revenue requirement for such fiscal years. The attached schedules present the actual and estimated revenue and expenditures in compliance with the above rate covenant. And then looking at those, our estimate for this year is that the ratio will be 5.6. And our estimate for next year is that the ratio will be 5.7. Per the bond covenant, our ratio is required to be 1.2 or greater. So we are well within the limits of our bond covenants. As an additional information, I know that we will be coming to the board next month and giving you more information and making more requests regarding future bond issues. And at that time, we will also be providing additional bonds testing information.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Any questions on the board?
No, but I do have a comment. We've talked about this before, and I want to note that the net revenues have come down to a slightly more reasonable level than they were in the past. I think it's politically dangerous to have the net revenues that we have today.
High or
It's
low?
too high.
Too high,
It's too high. And I realize there's a balance, because you're taking a risk and you're taking a chance by having it too low. But when you have it too high, then there are all kinds of questions as to what we're charging our ratepayers. And but more important is the conversation about Board of Water Supply being a independent, quasi-independent body. When perhaps its budget should be managed with the rest of the city's budget. And I think there are lots of really, really good reasons to stay quasi-independent. But this is a day, you take a risk.
Yeah,
I think that's a point well taken. I will note that as we've mentioned, we will be proposing to issue bonds in the third or fourth quarter. The payment on those bonds will not occur until the fiscal year 2021. So actually, in the percentages and the ratios I gave you today, so for this year and next year, it does not actually include the required payments from these proposed bonds. So we do, so this, there's kind of a timing issue that it takes time for these issues to settle out, but yeah, point well taken.
Yeah, thank you. The other aspect to keep in mind too, in accordance with board policy, is the working capital fund, which is also for major emergencies or disasters to help in recovery. And we are working within the board's policies, but good point, board member Soon. We've worked very hard over the last few years to right-size this revenue carryover from year to year, and to push as much as we can into our CIP to make things affordable for our customers. Excellent point.
Board members, since we're going to be having additional presentation on this item and potential action at the next board meeting, is there any suggested direction that you could provide for the staff for additional information or follow-up that would be helpful? Okay. Any additional questions from the board on this issue?
You're welcome to reach out to me after the board meeting, between board meetings, to discuss this more. Love to have that happen. Thank you.
Great. If there are no further questions, is there any public testimony on this agenda item? Hearing none, as this item requires no action, we'll move on to the second item for information this afternoon, the status update of groundwater levels at all index stations. Our packet includes a summary, but I'd like to call on Mr. Barry Usagawa for a presentation of this agenda item.
Good afternoon, Vice Chair, and congratulations again, and board members. No aquifer index wells in low groundwater status for May. Potable production was 138.7 million gallons. That's right around our 5-month moving average. Rainfall, as you know, we're in the starting to get into summer months. Rainfall has been below normal, 69% in May. The 5-month moving average was 72%. And then the drought monitor is showing abnormally dry conditions on Oahu with leeward side at severe drought conditions. There are more severe categories as we start to categorize the droughts, but this is but it's affecting leeward Oahu. And as I reported last month, the National Weather Service is predicting a continuation of the El Nino conditions through the summer, which causes or results in decreased precipitation. But because the Pacific Hurricane Center is also predicting 70% chance of above normal tropical cyclone activity, 5 to 8 storms through June to November, it would probably bring above normal rainfall during that time frame. So drought conditions, but these cyclones will tend to provide higher rainfall, which also though leads us to the emergency response planning and preparedness for those cyclones. Most of the monitor wells are showing decreasing trends, which is normal this year, this time of year, but none of them are in low groundwater condition. The ones to monitor is probably Kaimuki and Punaluu. Those are the ones that usually start dropping first. So that's sort of the what we would monitor. Tomorrow, just for your information, tomorrow we have the meeting of the Oahu Drought Committee, which is chaired by or coordinated by the Commission on Water Resource Management. And that's where we have agriculture, National Weather Service, all of the users report on the drought conditions or how they're preparing for this upcoming season. I will have more to report next month, but the meeting is tomorrow and we'll see how it goes.
Excellent. Thank you.
Just to kind of reiterate, especially for our customers, a reminder, we are in hurricane season, and there is a system developing off the coast of Mexico right now. kind of the first one in the Eastern Pacific. So we're going to watch it very closely, but I encourage everybody to be prepared. 14 days of food and water, about a gallon a day of water per person. And Board of Water Supply, the best deal is from the tap. You can purchase a lot of water from us at a very reasonable cost right at your home. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? No? If not, do we have any public testimony on this agenda item? Hearing none, mahalo, Mr. Usagawa. Again, this item requires no action, so we'll move on to our final item for information this afternoon, our water main repair report for May 2019. Again, our packet includes a summary, but I'd like to recognize Mr. Mike Fuke for presentation of this item.
Good afternoon, Chair, members, board members. During the month of May, we had 33 main breaks. There were two significant breaks. The first one occurred on May 8th, which is the 16-inch on Farrington Highway. This is located just about in Waianae Town, just about where McDonald's is located. This break was significant because we had a lot of traffic issues on this break. Initially, we had two lanes flowing toward town, one lane flowing toward Makaha. But we very quickly found out that the bulk of the traffic goes to Waianae High School. So we had to, in the middle of our break, we had to reverse the flow of the traffic so we could get two lanes flowing toward the Makaha direction, one toward town, and that took care of the traffic. The second significant break we had happened on May 23rd, which is the 20-inch break on Mailiili. That's the main break I talked about last month. The efforts that we went through to repair this line and the efforts of what the crew did and the feedback we had to get that main back up. About the length of time took us to repair the smaller lines, the 4, 6, 8, 12 took us roughly about 15, 16 hours. The 16 in Waianae Town took us about 33, and the 20-inch out. 20-inch took us roughly about 100 hours. That was the tough one. The leak detection team surveyed 27 miles, and we found 4 leaks that we addressed before they became major problems out there. You have any questions?
Nope. Any public testimony on this agenda item? If not, mahalo, Mr. Fuke, for your excellent work, and please extend our gratitude to your team as well. That is our final item for information. Is there any further business to come before the board? Hearing none, do I have a motion for adjournment?
I second.
The motion has been moved and seconded multiple times. All in favor? Anxious. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, none opposed. With that, the motion carries, and this June 24, 2019 meeting of the Board of Water Supply is adjourned at 2:26 p.m. See you in July.
You don't have to go to extremes to save water. For easy water-saving tips, visit boardofwatersupply.com.